Coming down to the side.
We have it!
He's going to get it.
Haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it! Big Barry!
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to the land of the free and the home of the brave. For the people who still don't know where we are in Alton, Virginia in the United States on a beautiful track called Virginia International Raceway. This track 3.270 miles long, or if you're from Europe, 5.262 kilometers long. A total of 23 corners, 12 to the right, 11 to the left. This track opened on the 3rd of August in 1957. Quickest lap time around this track, which we are pretty close to this evening, about 4 seconds off. A 136.112 by Lucas Luhr in the HPD ARX 03A in 2012 in the LMP1 class. Back then, in the American Le Mans series. So, of course, the IMSA has taken that over now. So, the American Le Mans series doesn't exist anymore. But that is the car that put down the fastest lap time on this track still to date. With me in the commentary booth, like every evening, once again, Stephen. Stephen, welcome in. Well, this track, as always, and you've pointed it out now already, the fact that you can race around this track, and it's always exciting if you can race around the track. Drivers already into qualifying. Dennis Kiriakopoulos is the man who we are looking with at the moment. 2 purple sectors in section number 1 and 3. About 6 sectors here this evening, 6 very short sectors, which will mean that you can get a good representation of, if you are purple, you are usually one of the quicker ones out on track. And if you have a lot of purples, usually you are going to be the one right up there, Stephen. And, well, Dennis Kiriakopoulos, good to see him back. Well, the drivers now out on their first laps. Setting a good lap time early on in the session is what's going to be important. Oak 3, a difficult corner, a double apexed corner really, one of the only double apexed corners on most tracks we go to with this radical. Some drivers are not used to to handle. And turn 11 and 12, it's called. Very difficult to kind of get it right, because turn 12 is sharper than you expect, because you go to the exit and then all of a sudden it tightens up at the turn 12. So it's a really exciting corner, that one. And if you get it right, a lot of time to be gained there. Also, something on this track, which I, as a European, find very annoying, because we don't do it a lot. You have a lot of turn A and B. You have turn 4A, you have turn 4B, you have turn 5A and B, turn 6A and B, turn 8A and B, turn 16A and B. So much A and B on this track, and that's why I said 23 corners in total on this track. But if you look at the track map, it'll tell you that you will only have 18 corners. That's because, of course, turn 18A and turn 18B technically would count as one corner, while still it is two different corners. Now, I did hear that there were some issues in the beginning with the levels. They should be able now to hear you.
Brilliant. I mean, hopefully, I'm not going to repeat everything that I've said so far, but hopefully I can be heard. And yeah, please let us know if that is the case. I'm having some technical difficulties with my screen at the moment as well. It's not showing certain camera angles and the like, but we shall power through, muddle through, and try and bring you some great entertainment regardless. We will solve these in the background, but main thing is, as long as I can be heard, that is great news so far. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting race. The championship itself is still wide open for anybody. This is going to be the halfway point, race 5 of 10. And Adam Isaacson, as I mentioned earlier, which may not have been heard, is currently leading that championship after Jürgen Frank had a little bit of a boo-boo at Watkins Glen in the penultimate laps, the late laps, I should say. Yeah, it should be very technical sectors involved, and like you say, it's unusual to see these kind of things in European tracks, whether you get the 5A, the 6A, and the 17A, where a corner is numbered. 2 corners are numbered the same. It's an interesting one, for sure.
It's something that you don't see often in Europe, really. Something that we Europeans are not really used to. At the moment, though, it seems like there's a bit of an issue with the server. It seems like everyone, at least on my timer screen, has been kicked out of the session, which is a unicum, something that we haven't had before. But yeah, no one seems to be in the session anymore, which is, well, worrying to say the least.
Certainly is, yeah. I wonder if you carry on, and I'll see if I can get to the bottom of it.
Well, I'm gonna have to find out, because at some point these drivers are gonna go green, green, green. It seems like Alfredo Malo, at the time where we were kicked out of the session, is still in first. But yeah, it seems like we've been kicked out of the session. Unicum. It's something that usually never happens. It's never good when it happens. A 1:41, like I said, about 4 seconds off of that quickest lap time set by Lucas Lur. That 1:36.112. We did expect these times to come down a bit. However, we don't expect it to get below the 1:39 mark. That's basically where the time should stop. Since, well, these cars can't really go any quicker. You need a really, really quick driver to get below that 1:39.0. And it takes some incredibly dangerous maneuvers, I think, to do that, cutting the track here and there. But no, these drivers, of course, really quick, but not, well, 38 something quick. Yeah, that's still about 3 seconds then still off of that quickest lap time. But yeah, of course, fighting fire is in the background. Like to figure out where everyone is.
Yeah, it seems at the moment unable to see what is going on. I'm going to just try and reset some things here in the background to see if I can get going again. I'm hoping it's an issue that can be solved rather quickly. Yeah.
Well, the beauty of live television. Trying to find
Certainly
these files
can
in the background.
provide a problem or two being live. There's yeah, we struggle some technical issues from time to time, but we still have time in qualifying remaining. But everything seems to have paused from my end as it stands. I'm trying to reload the session to see if that solves anything. If it does, then we can carry on from there. But bear with us and apologies. We shall get to the bottom of this for sure. Come back to you.
All right, guys. So we are quickly going to go to a B-Ride back screen, and then we will be back with, well, more racing action. Try and resolve these issues. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so it should be resolved now. Drivers are lining up on the grid to get the word go. As you can see, it's Malo on the pole position, Adam Isaacson in second, Jürgen Frank third, Mike Boos on fourth, Tim Bertie in fifth. The lights are coming on. Sorry for the technical issues, sorry for any inconvenience, but we're gonna go green, green, green shortly. 5 red lights are on, and we are green, green, green at Virginia International Raceway. And we have about 21 cars storming down into the horseshoe turn number 1. And Alfred Malo gets through cleanly and keeps his pole position ahead of Adam Isaacson, who gets through cleanly too. Behind that, Tim Bertie trying to attack his teammate Jürgen Frank. Mike Booston behind that, meanwhile, trying to spoil the party for Simracing Beethoven. And off the track almost goes Mike Booston, I think. Or was that Jürgen Frank? Yeah, it was Jürgen Frank dropping down the order. And now it is Mike Booston up into P4, Tim Bertie in P3. So far, we've seemed to get through the first couple of corners cleanly.
It looks that way indeed, but Malo is proven quick in previous races already. Gets the lead here and he's starting to maybe cause a bit of an upset at the top of the field here. We've got Frank and Isaacson, who are two of the highest rated iRacing rated drivers that I have ever seen, and they are currently not going well. Frank down to P7, got a lot of work to do to get back into contention with Isaacson, who he's fighting for with the championship. Got Bertie in his coveted P3 position. He really loves that spot. We've got Poussin all over the back of him, looking to make a move, but tricky to get that done. These guys are so quick, very defensive as well, and we're going to see lots of side-by-side action today. But looks like a clean getaway. Everybody's got going. Nobody's nobody's spat, had any major issues. And now underway with Isaacson and Melo currently breaking the brake for it at the front. Yeah, it's looking to be going to be an exciting race here at Virginia International Raceway.
For sure, on the left hand side you can see the time tower is back. Alfredo Malo still in first, ahead of Adam Isaacson and Tim Bertie in second and third. Arturo Scundeglis in fifth. He's doing a great job at the moment to keep up with the drivers ahead of him, Poussin and Bertie. However, the top two already breaking away a little bit. The Swede, Adam Isaacson, all over the back of Alfredo Malo. Adam Isaacson, of course, a well-known driver now in the Radical SR8 Europes. And, well, we both know, let's be honest, Stephen, that Adam Isaacson definitely one to take into account for the victory here.
Certainly will, yeah. He's already got a 2-point lead over Frank in the championship, but Frank is proven to be absolutely rapid, and the only one who can keep up with him is Isaacson. Having that buffer to Frank at the moment, who is in the pits as it stands, according to this, is yeah, maybe not going to be able to get a good race out here today. That could decide the championship. If there is maybe a race that doesn't go one or the other's way, that could gift a lot of points in the championship to the other. But Tim Bertie, as we mentioned before, P3, he absolutely loves that position. He finished both first and second race. He managed to get another position by virtue of the fact that Jürgen Frank had an issue. He's going to have another issue again today by the looks of things. He's already in the pit, so I wonder what's happened there.
Well, Adam Isaacson, like you said, one to take into account for that victory. Stefan Mellis is the one in P18. He's lost 2 positions from where he started. Jürgen Frank dropping down the order. There he is in pit lane. Already a lap down. Mikkel Hutala, the Finn, seems like he did not start. Did not get off the line. And he's down on P21. And out of this race already 30 minutes here on Virginia International Raceway. So one of the shorter races. We either have a 1 hour 30-minute race, or we have a 30-minute sprint race. So it's either an endurance or a sprint race. It seems like at the moment in this 30-minute sprint race that Malo is going to be controlling this race, and it's going to be Isaacson who is going to be the one chasing. And behind that is going to be Tim Bertie, hoping that something happens up ahead. Because if everything goes to plan for the 2 up ahead, it seems like Bertie does not have to pace to catch them.
Certainly not. That's proven to be the case in previous races as well. Tim Bertie, he's got some pace for sure, and can definitely beat a lot of the drivers in this grid, but has been able to catch that extra tenth and a half that is required to compete with Isaacson and Melo. Interesting to see McCutchinson down in P7 at the moment. He's currently battling with Karabelas and Bremer for P6, and we're going to see this the way it usually goes in these radical sim races. We start to see little groups of cars start banding together and causing battles to occur up and down the grid. And these guys are pros. They're very precise with their racing, and it becomes a difficult job to get past. But we are going to see some overtaking for sure. See these guys coming down now into turn 1, I believe. Tricky corner to get right, downhill, off camber, and very easy to go wide as Bertie does here. And now side by side goes Poussin, but he doesn't manage to get it done before the very fast left-hander before he gets to turn 4 and 5, and not happening there. But side by side goes the Tiger car with the Lusthoff car. We've got Blanco and Rolliston currently battling and hard in that same area, and around the outside is there going to be contact? No, he manages to squeeze ahead and gets the position. Brilliant stuff from Blanco. Fantastic racing.
Oh, a great move there by Rafael Blanco. and moves him up into P11. Norm Graaf, or Men of the Graaf, excuse me, is demoted down a position, the Dutch driver. However, even though being demoted down the position, he's already up 5 positions from where he started, so a good start position, or a good start for him. Rafael Blanco off the track, though, that gives Men of the Graaf a chance to come back at him. Doesn't do so though, thinks the better of it. Might be smarter for Menno to stay behind Rafael Blanco and try and stick into that section to try and catch up to Paul Clark ahead of him. Paul Clark from the Islands Racing team. We know how difficult he is to get past, so it won't be easy for those two up ahead. It is John McCutcheon and Iwan Bremer fighting it out. Iwan Bremer in the green livery here this evening with the Dutch flag on the side of that rear wing. Lovely touch. Also the Scottish flag for John McCutcheon, which is great. Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos a little bit further up the road in P6, also gained 2 positions from where he started. But so far for the top 7, it is only Alfred Mallow who lost that position to Adam Isaacson. While we were looking at that, Adam Isaacson has got past Alfredo Mallow.
Brilliant stuff from our championship leader as it stands. Aggressive and decisive in his moves. So let's have a look at this on board. So gets there down the inside here, and yeah, just sent it really, didn't he? Just Alfred Melo giving him a great deal of respect there. That was down into the final sector of corners. This is now down the main straight, and he's already defending the inside here. As you can see, he does not want to give that position back, defending the inside into turn 1.
What a fight.
And manages to make it stick. What a fight this is as well. He looks like, let him go. But that inside line is definitely the one to have into turn 1, and it lets you dictate the next corners, which are pretty quick and tough braking zone, those next couple of corners after that. And he managed to make it stick in the end, but Alfred Melo did not look like he was giving that up lightly, and definitely looking at maybe fighting this one back. 2.7 seconds the gap back to Tim Bertie, who currently has Poussin and Condelis for company. And but this looks like to be a great battle on track. Look at him, he's going to go for it. Is he going to go for a send here? Who knows? Melo has proved to be absolutely rapid. We haven't seen much of his wheel-to-wheel racing in the series so far, but so far today he looks very clean and respectful towards Adam Isaacson here as well. Jürgen Frank still in the pits, 3 laps down now. You could say his race is pretty much over in terms of fighting for this lead championship, and it's going to be big points lost for him in terms of the championship as well. That's the big story so far, and otherwise Isaacson running away with it once more.
Isaacson, I said a bit earlier on that I did not expect Isaacson to really have the pace to get past that quickly, but yeah, I'm rooting for Isaacson here. Now as we move to Sweden, go on. This would be the first Swedish victory when in Sweden, if that makes any sense, really. Anyways, Adam Isaacson, the Swede at the moment, well, improving his gap to Malo behind him. Doing well. Bertie behind that, even with the fighting that these two have been doing the last couple of laps. Bertie not really able to catch up. The gap, however, has not increased, which I think for Bertie is still a good thing, because he is there if these two drop anything.
Certainly is, and that's an important factor in all races. Consistency and keeping things clean and putting yourself in a position to take advantage of other people's mistakes is always a great option to have. So if these guys did end up with contact, which we did see, something very similar happened last week in Watkins Glen when Jürgen Frank came through the inner loop and there was suddenly a car sideways. Is Melo going to go for the move here? Looks like he is. He's defending the inside. Is Isaacson, and Melo is looking to get this one on the inside again as we come into a very twisty section of the track here. It's very difficult to keep the car on the straight and narrow in this sector. But, Melo unable to get the move done, doesn't make it stick. Great defensive work from Isaacson there as we come down the main straight once more. Another lap goes by, and another defensive move here from Isaacson. We're going to see some more fantastic racing between these two. They're not giving up. Not doing what Jürgen Frank and Isaacson do normally, but is he going to be able to hang it around the outside in turn 1? It's going to be difficult to go the long way around there. Doesn't manage to make it stick. Tucks it back in behind. Is he going to go for a send up the inside now? Nope. Isaacson's got that covered off as well. And yeah, he's showing us a masterclass in defensive driving here as Isaacson. And these guys are going at it hammer and tongs. It's going to be exciting to see how this one finishes up. Can't last forever this. Sooner or later, something has got to give.
Coming out of Snake, then turn 6, A and B, onto that long run to turn 7 and turn 8. Turn 7 and 8 8B and turn 9. Pretty much flat this section. Running into South Bend. The really next lift or braking points on the track, really. Not a corner to go for an overtake into Oak Tree, turn 11 and 12. Tricky to make a pass stick here, but he's going to try and get that cut back, get the exit on Isaacson, and it looks like, Stephen, he's going to have a go at Isaacson. However, is he going to make it stick this time around? Because we saw last lap that it didn't quite work out for him.
Certainly didn't, yeah, but these guys don't seem to be racing the same way that Isaacson and Frank raced in previous races. Ordinarily, Isaacson was happy to just sit behind Jürgen Frank, take the tow, and by this time they started racing and battling hard in the final moments of the race. These two guys, Melo, he's not having any of that. He's much more interested in just having a fun race by the looks of things. He's all at the back of Karabelas now on Busan, is coming down the main straight, is down into turn 1. It's a little gaggle of 3 cars there, all fighting, but back at the action in the front. And it looks like Melo is once again trying to stick his nose around the outside into turn 1, unable to make it stick once more. It's going to be very, very difficult to get around the outside there. The way the corner is, the camber of the corner needs that inside line. It's got such a huge advantage, and it's very difficult to make a send into turn 3, 4 and 5 as well, as it is a tightening sector there as it comes around to 2 and 3, which is quite a quick corner, and into turn 4, the heavy braking zone. Very easy to lose the car there. And you don't want to be taking any unnecessary risks. But look at this, got some fantastic racing here for you all this evening. Technical issues at the start notwithstanding, you're now up and running by the looks of things, and going strong. So yeah, Karabelas and on the back of Busan and Bertie, and these guys are waiting for mistakes. Making mistakes. There's a bit of a slide there from Team Radline car in front with the England flags on Busan. The back end out a little bit, but that's what these cars are like. They are a bit squirrely and difficult to control, but very easy to catch at times. And, yeah, this is promising to be an exciting showcase of some fantastic racing. Fierce competition here today. Melo has managed to take the lead back from Isaacson at the front. Missed that there. Not sure
might have
where
had
he's managed
enough.
to do that.
Isaacson might have had enough, and I'm pretty sure this is the one. To have a look at what Isaacson did from the lead, just way too deep, and that is going into turn 13, 14. The roller coaster came back on track, lucky not to hit Alfredo Molo, but that is what that's what it's given Alfredo Molo the lead, and also a gap now to try and extend a bit. The slipstream not there anymore for Adam Isaacson, so he's gonna have to do it all under his own steam now if he wants to catch back up, Stephen.
Certainly is. Yeah, how tight the margins are here in this Radical Sim Racing series. That one tiny little mistake there into the roller coaster, a very difficult corner to get right, by the way. You've got to brake later than you think you do, because you're going uphill there, and he's just braked a little bit too late. But he has got to manage to get himself a sizable gap down to 30 as well. Just too much, but he has lost out big time in his main rival Melo, who is taking advantage of the championship leaders, causing errors for themselves. We've still got Frank in the pits, we've got Place out. That's unfortunate for him. He's had a consistent season so far, and Utala as well is out also.
Welcome into everyone in the chat. To Phil, of course, who seems to be at every stream that we do. He was watching the Peak Up a bit earlier on too, and he now is at the Radical Sim Racing World Series, the Europe 1-2. So welcome in. Also welcome into my dad, who's watching from home. Of course, was in Sweden a couple of days ago. Mike Buson in P4 trying to make his way through under its sag though, which makes it very difficult to go for a proper move for Mike Buson, because he is under pressure from Arturas Karabelas, which makes it so difficult to go for a move and be sure that you don't lose the position in doing so. So I think the fact that Arturas Karabelas is behind Mike Buson is helping Tim Bertie a bit here.
Will be. That toe is very important, but a track like this, I mean, the main straight, the back straight, and the turns between 6 and turn 11 are all pretty much flat out. So the long straight here, like, you're going to benefit from that toe, but it's especially between turn 6 and 11, There are a lot of corners there. Like you are taking flat out. Maybe 10. You've got to do a slight lift for. I'm unsure in this car how it takes it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, with the speed that you carry through there. We can go on board into that section with the leader at the moment. Well, let's go on board with Paul Clark. He's going to come through that section in just a bit, and let's listen what he does. He's now coming through turn 8 and 9. Going into turn 10, let's listen what he does. I think he might even brake for that.
Yeah, there was a bit of a lift for sure. Definitely a skip in the engine's beat there, but almost certainly. So I know it is flat. It's certainly not flat in the GT3 car or the Toyota Mazda or the in the production sim car challenge where I was racing this week or the week previous. It's a tricky corner to get right because you've got to carry a lot more speed than you think you can through there. You can lose a lot of time there, but some racing here between Graf and Clark. There's Graf looking to go around the outside now into Madison Avenue.
Graf's going in deep. Oh, he just about made that, Stephen. He was going in deep anyways, but he just about made that corner and he made that move stick. Sorry to cut you off there, but I thought for a second that Men of the Graf was going to go off track because he ran in hot.
Certainly did, yeah, but look at this, we've got Rolliston now on the back of the Minis Tiger car, looking to pick up any scraps here from these guys fighting, but Clark didn't fight that one particularly hard. Maybe he knows, maybe he's aware of Rolliston behind him, looking to take another position off him as well. Don't want to get too caught up in all of that. You want to keep a nice clean race. We've got 12 minutes remaining so far of this race. We're on lap 11, and looks like Melo Isaacson has managed to catch up back to Melo on the back of him now, and yeah, we've already seen one aggressive move from Isaacson as well, but we've also seen the mistake that dropped him down to P2, but he looks like he's definitely got the pace to compete here and is looking to take advantage of any mistake that Melo might make, but he hasn't made any so far. Don't want to curse the man, he's looking solid so far.
He's done an incredible job with lap times of about 140.95. Sadly though, no lap times to report on from qualifying since we weren't there. Alfredo Malo under attack again from Adam Isaacson. He will be, oh there he is, there's the Swede again. He doesn't want to leave me alone, and rightly so for Adam Isaacson. He's been quick this whole race through. He caught back up without the slipstream, so did it all under his own steam. And well, he deserves to have a sniff at that podium, and he is on there, and that victory for him is looming in the distance in the form of Alfredo Malo. Tim Bertie behind that. Look, he has a train behind him too. Daly's a little bit further back now. Buson has dropped up massively. Arturus Daly's has got past. I don't know what happened to Mike Buson, but all of a sudden, hey Stephen, he's dropped up massively.
Certainly has. I missed that as well, so unfortunately can't give you any information about what happened there, but we've also got the Hutchinson down into P13 as well, so something's gone wrong for him. He was up in P78 a moment ago, and he's now dropped some distance there as well, but it's a difficult track. There's not a lot of runoff as we go on for an instant replay here with Jason Duckworth as he comes down into...
Oh, don't take anyone out!
Oh, he did take him out. He got into the vortex of danger there, and just unable to back out of it again. He gets...
Stephen Place, that was.
Ooh, that was Stephen Place at the very beginning of the race. I mean, he's been out for a while now, so that's very unfortunate for him. Not his fault at all, and he no longer is racing. He'll be very disappointed with that one, and I imagine going to be some angry words exchanged here as we're on board with Karabelas as he got a bit of a swapper there. Oh, how did he manage to keep that alive there? He managed to avoid that tyre barrier, and that looked like a pure miracle to me, how he managed to not kill the entire car with that loss of control there. Huge swapper. Huge.
If we look at the steering wheel, it all seems to be still straight for Dennis Karabelas. That definitely has damaged his confidence a bit going into that corner. Alfredo Malo well under attack. Now we're into the last third of this race. 10 minutes, a little bit less left in this race. That means about 6-7 laps left for these drivers. For sure 6-7 maybe, depending on how quick Alfredo Malo and Adam Isaacson are going to make the ends of this race. Bertie behind that. He was closer a little bit earlier on, but because Malo, of course, a little bit of clean air, the gap to Bertie and Alfredo Molo and Adam Isaacson up front. Opened up a bit again. Arturis Kondelis not out for a podium here too. Arturis has been quick, especially in the American Series too, where Stephen Place, of course, is a well-known contender. While he is out of this race, you can see that he was taken out a little bit earlier on. Well, together with Jason Duckworth. Jason Duckworth just a little bit deep coming into the roller coaster turn 14. And sadly took Stephen Place with him. Stephen Place out of this race. So we can say about Jurgen Frank, it says that he's still in pit lane, but I don't think, Stephen, that he's going to come back out.
I mean, even if he did at this stage, he's 11 laps down. He's going to manage to complete 2 here. He probably does want to try and get back out if he can, because it's points at the end of the day, and he will gain some, but it looks as though at the moment Isaacson is going to take real charge of this championship, and it's going to be difficult for anybody else to compete with him now that Frank has lost so many points into the championship that he's going to really need Isaacson to miss a race or have an incident or a problem such as he's had today. But Melo at the moment is defending hard. He's done a 40.5 last lap and is looking strong in the defence here, as well as Kondelis is also battling hard. It's almost impossible to get around the outside there into turn 1 as we follow on board with him. Is he going to go for a look up the inside here? It's going to be a very dangerous move if he does, as yeah, this long sweeping double left-hander here, it can be very tricky to get right at the end of the hard braking zone of turn 5, and then through here, flat on the pedal now from here from turn 10, excuse me, where you do lift it a little bit, and it's going to be difficult to get a move done here though, because you're on flat out pretty much. It's all about your line.
So twisty here.
Very smooth input is what it's all about here, but look at the toe that he's getting there, but he cannot go anywhere in turn 10. It's not an overtaking spot at all, and he's backed off a bit too hard there, you might say. Maybe he could have set it down the inside if he managed to follow a little bit closer, but as we saw with Duckworth, it's very difficult to follow closely without taking the guy out in front as well. Just got into this vortex of danger, as it's known there. Just very fine margins in this track, for sure.
Bertie still trying to defend his way from Kondelis. Sergei Jets go Arturis, so he's rooting for the driver for the moment, Arturis Kondelis. Well, I don't actually know what that flag is from. I'll put it up for everyone else in chat too. If anyone else is able to tell me what that flag is from, usually I'm good with my flags, but if someone is able to tell me which country Kondelis is from, that would be awesome. It's a flag that you don't see often, really. But Arturis Kondelis up in fourth, 3 positions gained on where he started. Still trying to make his way past Bertie. He's been in shooting distance of that podium for this whole race long, and well, he would deserve a go at it. So would deserve Bertie to keep that podium with the stellar defense he's put up so far.
If I was to guess, I'm trying to find that flag. I would say it is Lithuanian.
Could be, yeah.
Possibly the Lithuanian flag. There are some others that maybe match the bill as well. Flags, something to be very similar, but I would say my initial thought was Ecuadorian, but it doesn't have the little.
It doesn't have the blue, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Ecuadorian. It's just a slightly different flag. Yeah, blue and red, not green and red. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to go stick my neck on the line and say it's Lithuanian. Yeah, not one that you see every day for sure. But I used to love playing geography-style games like that back in high school, guessing the capital cities of random countries.
Seems like someone had a rough ride here, Stephen.
Let's
Alex.
follow on board then. It's Roggenbach as he goes deep, wide, gets the lawnmower out and manages to keep it out the barrier. Rejoins relatively safely. Doesn't look like anybody's going to come down his left, so it's a safe rejoin. But
oh, he goes off again.
Off again, yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe he's getting paid for cutting the grass. I'm not sure, but there
goes a tear off.
Nice little side earner for sure.
Well, he went off track. At least race control says about 4 or 5 times within the space of 30-40 seconds. So let's stay on board with Alex Roggenbach. See if he can stay clean here. But it seems like at the moment Alex has had a bit of a rough ride in his last lap. Let's see if he's going to get Oak Tree right. A difficult corner, especially with hot tires if you've gone off track. But all of that seems to have been right. That is a rough ride there through turn 5 and 6 for Alex. But he got through at the front though. Adam Isaacson with a purple lap time last time round, a 140.24. That is, like I said, about 4 seconds slower than the quickest ever lap on this track set by Lucas Luhr, a 136.112 back in 2012 in the LMP1, the HPD ARX 03A. What a beautiful era that was. The open cockpit LMP1s. Absolutely lovely time that. Paul Clark has also got past. Look at this battle between these drivers. Paul Clark, Dave Rullis, the men of the graph, and John McHutchinson are all in it. John McHutchinson's car, however, has seen better days. The left-hand side of that car, definitely not up to spec with all the others. He's going to be losing some downforce in the corners. There's some straight line speed too. He will have more drag. Of course, not optimized, but he isn't slower by any means. He's all over the back now of Men of the Graph. He's going to have to look behind now, Stephen.
Yeah, that car looks like it is in an absolute state, rather a bit like the Volvo I went to go look at yesterday, which didn't even have an exhaust, to be honest. It was a very strange one, trying to sell a car there, but it was going to be a dive there from a Tiger car. He managed to go for it in the end, backs out. But yeah, looks like John Hutchinson is definitely quicker than Men of the Graph here, and Rollison and Clark have also got to keep their eyes open as well, but John Hutchinson has to keep his cool, pick his time perfectly here, because it's proving difficult to overtake here. Best place to do so maybe is going down the inside into turn 1. And if you cover the inside line there, it's almost impossible for the guy to go around the outside. Caught on board, looking at the Alpine rear wing, Kronenberg rear wing here, off Graph to McHutchinson. McHutchinson, he's been having a couple of decent races the past couple of times out in Watkins Glen and Barber as well. And it's not gone his way this way for sure, otherwise his car would be in better nick. But he's still got some racing to have. We've got 2 minutes remaining. Isaacson has managed to reclose the gap onto Melo at the front as well. He did drop off down to about 1.2 seconds for a while. I wonder if he made another mistake, but we'll never know. We find out in the interviews afterwards. But it's been an eventful race so far. Side-by-side action here as it looked as though for a moment Graf was going to go around the outside of Hutchinson down in the run to turn 10, but backed out of it in the end. And Hutchinson really needs to get a move on here. He's not got a lot of time left. If he wants this position to fight for it. But I get the feeling that maybe at this stage of the race it might just be about preserving things. 2 points extra isn't going to make or break his season, and an incident certainly could break his car even more. Isaacson now going to the outside down into turn 1. Gets alongside, but that inside line's so powerful in turn 1.
Oh, almost went round. He kept that, and how did he do that? I thought for a second Adam Isaacson trying to push too hard might well have spun round there, but he did not. It's going to be close, like I said. Are they going to hit 7 laps, or are they going to keep it at 6? Because they went across the line with about 1:30 on the clock, which would not be enough. Last lap time, or the lap time before that, 1:39.84 for Adam Isaacson, and a 1:40 this time round. So about 10 seconds to spare when they went over the, or when they went across the line. That'll mean that the white flag is out. If we go to the grid, we can see on the left-hand side. Might see Barry or Barry waving. We do not see him, so that might well be a case of another lap after this one. You can see the checkered flag though.
See that. For sure, he needs that extra lap. Is he going to?
It's the last lap.
He's going to go for it here. He's going to get alongside, and it is side-by-side racing. He gets the inside for the next corner, and he's got his nose ahead. But Melo is not giving it up easy. He's got the inside for the next corner. And this is going to be tight racing, and Isaacson sweeps it across the front of him there, takes the position. A very, very brave move there in the end, round the final 2 corners in turns 7, 16, 17 and 17A, and gets the lead again. Now he's got to defend it. Is this going to be the checkered flag? He has got it. He's got it in the final corner of the final lap. Isaacson with an absolutely immense move there. He needed to do what he needed to do when he needed to do it. That's the best.
There we go.
A brilliant win from Isaacson. Poor form Poor for Melo. He led the majority of the race. Isaacson made a couple of mistakes, but managed to recover from them. Karabelas gets his P3 from Bertie as well. We missed that battle in the background. I believe that was a late move as well. As far as I remember, Bertie was just in front as we were going on at the final lap there as well. So Karabelas, congratulations to him with his Lithuanian flag, beating the German. Let's have a look at the replay for that one. This is Bertie here on board. Looks like it's the inside. These are the final few corners, I believe. Let's go down the left-hand side, side by side. Look for the respect given, the space given. And looks like, yes, Karabelas gets it. And around the final corner there as well. That's the DRS sign for the main straight. And another very tight battle. What fantastic racing here between these guys. And what respect shown between these as well. We had some major incidents here today. The big talking point, obviously, is Jürgen Frank unable to loses out massively in terms of points positions to Isaacson, who takes advantage of that incident and gets the win here. But what a move that was. How brave was that from Isaacson in the final moments of the race, when the pressure was really piling on. He was Mr. Iceman and took the position when he needed to. Brilliant racing.
Well, especially under the amount of pressure that he was. And with the pressure that he had too of maybe throwing a very good position that he already had, maybe throwing that away. Because remember, every point that he picked up over Jürgen Frank this evening would be won, because Jürgen Frank out of this race. So is Stephen Place, so is Hutala. Rolliston, however, he's back into pit lane. I don't think he finished this race either. And there it is. It is Adam Isaacson with the donuts on the front stretch. And it's Malo looking at it, looking at those donuts, thinking that could have been me. And he is going to do some. It's not going to be victory donuts, but it is going to be donuts for P2. And, well, rightly so. He fought very hard for it. In the end, it is Isaacson who gets it on the last lap in the last corner. What a drive from both of these drivers. We have the result for you of this race on your screen right now. It is going to be, like we said, Adam Isaacson who's going to win this race ahead of Alfredo Malo. In the end, 1.5 tenths in between those drivers. How close do you want it after about 30 minutes of constant action between the Swede and Alfredo Malo? Arturus Condelis in P3 out of Tim Bertie. Arturus was behind Tim Bertie for so long. The German driver, of course, champion in last season, took it with, well, about 28 minutes to go. Let's put it like that. He's been leading that duo for so long. Arturus Condelis, in the end, though, last corner, last lap, the same as Adam Isaacson, went for it and got it. And that podium spot is finally the thing that he's been fighting for so long in this race. Mike Buson finishes in P5, just ahead of Ewan Bremer. So much close fights here in the end. 6/10 between those two. Ewan Bremer gets a good points haul again. Rafael Blanco and Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos in P7 and 8. Paul Clark and Guy Robertson in P9 and 10. John McHutchinson in P11 ahead of Jason Duckworth, who had that contact a little bit earlier on in the race with Stephen Place. Stephen Place not able to finish this race. Jason Duckworth managing to climb back up into P12. George Gonzaga in P13, ahead of Man of the Graph in P14. Daniela Cascado in P15, ahead of Stefan Mellis in P16. Alex Roggenbuck in P17, ahead of, in P18, David Rolliston. Then we have about 3 other drivers who were not able to finish this race. Stephen Place, Jürgen Frank, the most substantial one of the three, excuse me, and Michael Hutala, who finishes off this 21 grid car, grid at the end of round number 5 at Virginia International Raceway. Jürgen Frank, like we said, a big points loss for him though.
Certainly, yes, and big gains for a number of people there. Alfred Meloir, after missing 2 races so far this season, is still on for a very good finish in the championship after a good result here today. He'll be disappointed that he didn't get all 50 points for the win, but 48 will do. That's his second best, well, joint best finish of the season after the first race, where he came P2 as well. But Tim Bertie is going to jump John Hutchinson and Jürgen Frank to go P2 in the championship as well. And Paul Clark, Mr. Consistency so far this season, has had very strong finishes in every race so far, and is quite high in the standings on as we're looking at them today. But we've joined by Arturas Kundelis. Fantastic race there. You managed to get the podium spot at the death. But the first question I think both me and Dan both have is, where is your flag from? Is it indeed Lithuanian, like I suggested, or is it somewhere else?
Yeah. Hello, guys. It's good to be back. Yeah, it is Lithuanian, as you suggested, and as I believe as I have confirmed in Zandvoort. So yeah, it's very much Lithuanian.
Apologies, I'm getting old these days. My memory's not what it was. So what it once was. But a podium in the end. You managed to get Tim Bertie at the death, I believe it was, with a brave move. By the looks of things, in the final few corners. Talk us through that move and how that built up, and how nervous were you when you went for it as well?
Yeah, the whole race was a bit of a strategy game because at first you kind of need to stick with the people that you have around to lose the people that you don't want to have around. Like at first it was Dennis, then it was Mike, and isolate your opponents and leave the battles for the final bit while not trying not to overheat the tires. So I was, yeah, luckily I did exactly that and left the best for the last. And yeah, it was a move with 5 minutes to go, and then Tim kind of had a pretty good move back on me on the final lap, but yeah, managed to reach the finish line first.
Yeah, and like you say there as well, tire overheating an issue here today. A number of people having a bit of an issue with that by the looks of things, maybe struggling to break the car. Tell us what it is that you do with the car to manage those tire temperatures. Is it a case of lifting and coasting at times, or what? Talk us through your thinking about it.
Yeah, first of all, yeah, it's the whole majority of the race you try to stick in someone else's draft, so you kind of can afford to coast. You brake earlier, you relax yourself, your tires are relaxed, and yeah, short shifting, not flooring the accelerator whenever you feel like it, and just really being gentle with it, and it pays off at the end.
I believe this is one of your best finishes, if not your best. I believe it is your best finish this season so far. Have you got any aims or targets that you want to hit before the round 10 finale comes, or is it just taking each race at a time? What
No,
are your
just no targets. Just have fun each race and try to get a good result, and yeah, try to have as fun races as possible. And today was exactly that.
It certainly looked fun from my point of view as well. And you've beaten a driver who currently holds about 2,500 I rating over you as well. So you've got to be very pleased with that. Beating a driver with such a reputation and skill as well. But thank you very much for your time, Arturas. We shall move on to the next interview. And congratulations on a fantastic podium and a great drive.
Thanks a lot. Good night.
Bye-bye. So we'll move on to Adam Isaacson next. He wins the next. He wins another race, third win of the season, and in what style as well? A final lap move in the very final sector as well. Let's start there, shall we, Adam? It was a very brave move by the looks of things, going side by side with Milo, who did a fantastic job defending for so long. But there's no friends in racing. You're gonna go for that move all day long, were you not?
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be hard, especially since they covered the left, which is probably the better side for that corner. So I just really sent it in, went for a gamble, and somehow it worked.
It definitely worked as well, and yeah, I mean, last lap, last corner, section of corners really, and maybe he gave it a bit. Gave it up a bit easy, but he certainly wasn't making life easy for you throughout the race. You guys had a race-long battle. You seemed to have the pace over him, but Melo definitely had defense at the top of his agenda. And unlike when you were racing Jürgen Frank last week, it was pretty much elbows out from the get-go. Melo wasn't happy to sit in your wake. He wanted to have a race, did he not? And talk us through the beginning of the race and how tight that was, and mainly as well, I want to know about that mistake you made going into, I believe it was roller coaster as well.
Yeah, well, today was definitely a very different race because, of course, there's no fuel to consider. Because last time we were basically just sitting for half the race, saving fuel. this time it was a bit more about track position, I think, especially since it's so hard to overtake here. But yeah, I managed to get the lead early there, and then I kind of managed to hold it, but then of course, I made that mistake, and I made quite a few mistakes actually this race.
Yeah, we didn't catch them all, but that one in the roller coaster where you just went a bit wide. What happened there? Was it just the braking a little bit too late? Did your tires overheat? Do you know what caused it, or lapse of concentration? What happened?
Yeah, I just kind of overcooked the braking a little bit. Kind of misjudged how much earlier I had to brake as the tires started to wear down. So, yeah.
It's certainly a very tricky track. But the big news today in terms of your championship is that Jürgen Frank only managed to do 2 laps. So he's lost a lot of points in the championship. And John Hutchinson, who was in P3 in the championship as well, only 7 points behind you. He also lost a great deal of points today, finishing in P12, I believe it was in the end. So it's a great day all round in terms of your championship drive. Do you believe now after this race, halfway stage, and you've taken a commanding lead after today, is it yours for the taking?
Well, it's still a long way to go. Don't want to celebrate too early, I guess. Jürgen is still very quick, and it's still very much possible for me to have a bad race or miss a race or whatever. So it's definitely not over.
Definitely not, no. But a great drive once more. Another great win. 3rd of the season. 2nd in a row after last week's shenanigans. and again, more interesting drama unfolded there in Watkins Glen. And I'm going to check now what we've got next as well in the calendar. I cannot remember for the life of me which it is. Where is it again?
Next week, if you want to know about what we have on next week, we are going to the Daytona Road Course.
So yeah, how do you feel about Daytona then? Like, I mean, it's another track, another American track. Seem to spend a lot of time in America this season, but there's obviously the old trope that Americans don't know what a corner is because they love their drag racing and cars that they design necessarily aren't great at corners. But tracks like this, Virginia especially, lots of corners here, very tricky. Daytona is another one of those as well. And are you going to be here, first of all? Are you going to miss any more races from now to the end of the season? And do you think Jürgen Frank is going to come back strong next week?
Well, I'm actually unsure about next week if I will be able to make it. But if I do, it's definitely going to be an interesting race. The draft is so strong on that track that pace is pretty much irrelevant. It's all about the draft game and who gets drafted onto the last lap. So yeah, that will be interesting.
It's going to be interesting as well. And there seems to be a new contender pace-wise as well. Alfredo Melo had some fantastic pace here today, but do you feel you had the beating of him today? You did catch up after a couple of mistakes and managed to get the move done, but guy is quick. He is very quick. Is he going to be a contender for podiums in the future, do you believe?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's really quick, and yeah, it definitely wasn't much that I won by today, so...
I mean, his defensive work as well in his racecraft today was excellent. Is there anything you want to say to your competitor if he's watching after all is done?
Well, good race, I guess.
Champion. Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much for your time, Adam Isaacson, and we wish you another great week, and you can definitely get the champagne ready again once more after another fantastic win. Thank you for your time, and you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Well, that was definitely 2 very happy drivers. Don't know why we're not hearing anything from Alfredo. Bit sad because I would have loved to hear how it would have been for him. First time really fighting for that lead, and maybe even had the chance to win it. But yeah, Marlon did a great job. Sad that we couldn't get him in here.
It is. It's always great to hear from the drivers, to give us insights into parts of the race that we sometimes miss. Obviously, want to apologise here, take that opportunity there to apologise for the errors at the beginning. But that is live presenting. Sometimes things go wrong, but we managed to muddle through. But Alfred Melo, he's going to jump a lot of positions in the championship. After missing 2 races, he's still well on course for a top 5 finish in the championship.
For
The man
sure.
has got serious pace. So he was fighting for a lead position, I believe, in the first round here in the Radical Sim Racing series. And I doubt it's going to be the last we hear of him in terms of podium positions as well. But what fantastic racing we had here today. Some great side-by-side action. A tricky track to get right here at Virginia International Raceway. And some very late drama as well with the last lap, last corner overtake for the win.
There we go. I don't even think I have to ask you to round it off in one sentence because you've just done that. Well, an amazing evening here in Virginia International Raceway. This 3.2 mile kilometer or 3.2 mile long, 5.26 kilometer long circuit has provided us with some amazing action here this evening. I will thank you all for watching. It's been great to have you all here. Of course, join us tonight for the Radical World Series America 1. That is at about 3 a.m. Central European time. For the people that live in the UK, that's 2 UTC. So 2 in the morning. It's going to be an incredible one. As always, more of the same that you've seen here from the Radical World Series Europe. From me, from Stephen, thank you for watching. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.